The South Carolina Hall of Fame was founded in Myrtle Beach in 1973 to recognize and honor contemporary and past citizens who have made outstanding contributions to South Carolina's heritage, history, and progress.
James Louis Petigru was born on May 10, 1789, on a farm near Flatwoods, South Carolina.
He did not have a good relationship with his father. To an extent, Petigru didn't have any respect for the sort of undisciplined lifestyle of his father.
Petigru, who was resentful of his father's lack of ambition, changed the spelling of his name to reflect the Huguenot ancestry of his mother.
He did so, I think, partly to pave the way for his career in the Low Country and in Charleston, where people of French Huguenot descent were widely respected and had merged themselves into the Low Country elite pretty effectively.
In 1809, Petigru graduated from South Carolina College, today known as the University of South Carolina. He became a successful lawyer, surrounding himself with some of Charleston's most elite South Carolinians.
He was brilliant. He became a very excellent lawyer. He was accepted into the wealthy elite of the Low Country based on the qualities that he brought to it, other than money.
He was just such a genial guy, it was hard to get mad at him.
In 1822, Petigru was elected as the state's Attorney General. In 1830, he became a member of the House of Representatives, serving as an active opponent of nullification, the belief that state laws were more powerful than federal laws.
Despite the Constitution saying that the laws of Congress and the treaties and what have you are the supreme law of the land, they said not in South Carolina.
Unfortunately for Petigru and his Unionist peers, support for John C. Calhoun's nullifiers swept across the state, and Federalist sentiments became confined to the Charleston upper class.
Calhoun recognized that he could tap into the unrest of some of the younger population, and they did so effectively. Petigru became really a devout advocate of the United States Constitution. It became the core of his political being, and unlike others who drifted away from that position largely because of their desire to defend slavery, Petigru never really made that adjustment.
Unlike a number of his fellow Unionists who threw in there, once secession was a reality, they said, that's fine, we'll go along with it. He didn't.
Petigru became known for his satirical comments and writings on the state of South Carolina, calling the state a rich, fat, lazy planter who had lost his plantation to the overseer.
Petigru's satire tended to convey a disdain for simple majority opinion, and it was aimed at those he thought held power but not wisdom.
As years went by and talk of secession emerged, Petigru criticized the state, famously proclaiming that South Carolina was too small for a republic and too large for an insane asylum.
In 21st century language, it became viral. I guarantee you, if you walk on the street and throw that quote out, people may not know it comes from Petigru, but they know that quote.
In the latter part of his life, Petigru was selected to help recodify the state's laws, a reform campaign that had been brought up on numerous occasions throughout Petigru's career.
The notion was the practice of law would be much easier if we had a code of laws which attorneys could refer to and then follow updated court decisions over a narrow span of time.
After 3 years of intense, tiresome work, Petigru completed the task. Unfortunately, his work was not reviewed until after his death in 1863, where it was rejected in favor of drafting another code.
It was nonetheless a valuable piece of work that survived to influence later efforts to codify the state's laws.
Not only would Petigru never live to see his work reviewed, but he would die in the midst of a raging civil war.
He said, I believe in the Union, I don't believe in secession, and he believed that and said that until his dying day.
Despite the vast unpopularity of his views at the time, Petigru's death was mourned in Charleston.
There was a grand public funeral. The entire city turned out. He was just a beloved figure.
He also shows how it is possible to be at the center, to not necessarily be drawn into everything that's going on around you, to sound a dissenting voice, and yet remain a person who was respected, if not a person of influence.
Today, James Louis Petigru is remembered as a man who stood by his convictions when no one else agreed, and who showed his dedication for his state through his love of country.